What's going on, guys? Your boy Ooze back in once again. They're dropping cards like they're dropping flies or like it's going out of style. But, you know, that's good because that's good for content, right? We have 3 new green cards to go over. Nothing in regards to Shin Godzilla this time around. If you are coming from the last video, or if you didn't know about the last video, well, newsflash, we just did a video where we covered 12 new cards from the Monsters Raid Again, the second set of the Godzilla card game. And as always, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing so that way it helps push these videos out to get more players and to get more eyes on this game, because this game is way too much fun to not have people playing. So without further ado, let's get into these new cards. Okay, so as always, I do have some translations for you guys that I was able to figure out on my own. ChatGPT is such an amazing tool, I'll just say that. But of course, like any kind of AI or Google translation, it's gonna give a rough translation. I will say though, out of all of those that are out there, I want to say ChatGPT's is the best so far. Not 100% accuracy, but there's a few things that I had to polish up to make the cards make a lot of sense. Here we go. So we're gonna go, I'm gonna leave the best for last, and it's the card that is all the way on the right. Okay, and I'm sure if you haven't noticed already, that says 23 cards. Well, wait a minute, Uchi, I thought there was only 8 zones. You'd be correct, but we'll get to that. So we have a rank 3 King Ghidorah, of course representing that 1991. And it goes as follows. Enter. If there are 3 or more cards underneath this card, choose one of the following. So we have a few effects to choose from here. Destroy 3 of your opponent's level 5 or lower battle cards. Your opponent discards cards from their hand until they have 3 remaining. Place the top cards of your deck into your discard pile. So those are the 3 things that you're able to do so long as you have 3 or more cards underneath this card. So this seems like green is relying heavily on making sure that you have cards underneath it. So the funny thing is, you will have at least 2 underneath it, because if you're playing up from evolution, the only way, and there's no bursting for green, so the only way to get a card or to get this effect out is when you're evolved to a rank 3, and therefore you would essentially stack this new card over your rank 3 monster card, and then that's when you would start to see some effects triggering. Just as a reminder, you're only allowed to do that once per turn. Same thing goes for bursting. So, and trust me, I tried this. You cannot burst and then stack. I thought that would, if you could do that, that'd be very busted, but unfortunately that is not something that you can do unless there's a card in this set or in future sets that actually will allow you to do that. So that's the rank 3 King Ghidorah with 21,000 threat level at a 1-step. The card on the far right, or far left, excuse me. In the middle, we have a rank 4, and this is a Mecha King Ghidorah from the 23rd century as far as ChatGPT is concerned. And now this one says, as an enter ability, if there are 5 or more cards underneath this card, choose one of the following. Destroy 3 of your opponent's level 6 or lower battle cards. Your opponent discards cards from their hand until they have 2 remaining, or increase your rage by 3. The one thing that I can definitely say about green that I really love is the versatility. Green seems like it is a color type that allows for options to counterplay based on the situation that you're in. So far, at least, with how this game has been seeming, you know, that how players are playing it, is it's very like black or white, or in this case, it's very red or blue, right? Like blue plays a certain way while red plays a certain way. Now there are, I guess you could say, subways in how to play each color. Like for example, like you can rely heavily on increasing your rage with red. You can, you know, rely a lot on the bursting, you know, to get more rage out of that. But then red also has some gimmicks where you can advance your opponent up a zone, which, you know, why, you know, you might be thinking, oh, why would I do that? That's gonna set me up to lose. Well, potentially, yes, be realistic, but that also allows you to play higher costed cards, right? So It's all about how you go about it and how you strategize, or if you needed their monster to be in a specific lane so that you could push them back or do something along those lines, right? So with green, it just seems like they're giving you a lot of options to cover whatever base you need to cover based on whoever you're playing. So in a weird way, as I'm saying this, I feel like green might actually be a perfect answer for red and blue, which is crazy, especially considering that this is like the brand new color. And then at the same time, it does make sense because, you know, they have to, on a business standpoint, they have to give people reason to spend more money on this game and to even try to pull for green cards, because let's face it, like, these cards are looking pretty sick. I'm a fan of King Ghidorah. I love how my boy is getting a lot of love, and I love the color green, you know what I'm saying? So it is really cool. So again, you are able to destroy 3 of your opponent's level 6 or lower battle cards, which covers a lot of cards in the game right now. Your opponent discards cards until they have 2 remaining. Like I mentioned in the last video, I really feel like cards that enable the player to get rid of their hand is super helpful for the person doing it. And then, of course, increasing your rage by 3, that is humongous, okay? That is, like, super protection, especially being that this is a rank 4, 2-step, 34k. Bro, you're basically providing yourself an extra 15k, so you're going to put yourself, what is that, 49? Son, like, that's OD. And then let's not even forget that that's without even whatever you might have set for your own rage anyway, right? Now, let's move on to the last and final card for this video. This card had a lot of people, I don't want to say tweaking this morning when they dropped the info, but let me just say, I thought I was seeing things. I'm not even gonna lie. My vision was like, like I was like, wait, what? And then I even had people asking me like, bro, how do you play a 23 cost card in this game, right? So let's get into it. It reads, for each non-level 23 King Ghidorah card in your discard pile, you may reduce the summon cost of this card by 2 when playing it from your hand. It still counts as level 23 after being summoned. If this card is in the same column as one of your opponent's kaiju cards, your opponent cannot invade, which is actually kind of insane. And this card gains 3,000 combat power. Okay, so let's go over the first part. For each non-level 23 King Ghidorah, so that means that, of course, you can, because of the game's rules, you could run 4 copies of any card in the game. There's no ban list, and I hope there never is, right? Because, you know, we won't have to get into that. But in regards to this card specifically, you obviously could run 4 copies of this. But if you have any of them in your discard pile, that does not count towards playing him. So essentially, you need to play or have a lot of King Ghidorahs piled in your discard pile. Some other non-keywords we can, you know, refer to, because there's no the fact that the keywords are omitted in this text just tells me that, okay, so any card, whether it be a strategy card, a battle card, a monster card, as long as it has King Ghidorah, you see those brackets, okay? You see the brackets right underneath where the name is. You guys see my mouse? Yeah, you can see my mouse. Right here. This is where King Ghidorah is. I can't read the characters. I used to. Funny enough, there was one time where I was learning how to I was trying to learn how to read hiragana, katakana. That was a long time ago. So either way, King Ghidorah are within these characters, right? And you can even see, if you look at the other ones, King Ghidorah, right there, King Ghidorah, okay? Any card that has that name in the name of the card itself, that is a viable card, as long as it's not that one specifically. So how many cards would it take is probably the next question someone might be having, because if this effect literally functions off of having King Ghidorahs in your discard pile, and for every one it decreases its cost by 2, let's think. You want to at least get to what, 8? So that's like 21, 19, 17, 15, 13, 11, 9, and then 7. You would have to have at least 8 cards okay, 8 cards that are King Ghidorah cards in your discard pile that are not this one to just make him cost 7, right? Now, if you have more than that, let's say, you know, drop it down to 5, drop it down to 3, drop it down to 1. So in order for you to play this card at a 1 cost, you would essentially have to have 11 King Ghidorah cards in your discard pile, just to give you some perspective on how this card essentially works. Officially, we can all say this is the highest cost card in this game, and I'm looking forward to seeing how people utilize him when he drops. I'm really looking forward to seeing how people play this guy when all the cards are out, and I'm looking forward to seeing more green. Hopefully we get some more tomorrow, and I'll do my best to get these videos out for you guys as soon as possible. So again, a friendly reminder, make sure you're liking the video, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that bell, and also feel free to join the unofficial Godzilla card game Discord, because there's a lot of good folks in there, a lot of very kind, patient people that are very friendly and willing to answer questions. I'm one of those people that answers questions whenever I can. I also ask questions to verify and clarify a few things that I might not be 100% on. But, you know, even with someone like myself that I feel like I understand the game very, very well enough to answer anyone's disputes or concerns, there's others that are there for that as well, which is really cool. So I'll leave a link in the description for their Discord as well. And if you want to join the gang, my Discord, then their link is always going to be in my description as always. And also, before I forget again, my discount code for Dueling Guard actually went up, so shout outs to that. We now have a 15% discount off of all the products that Dueling Guard has to offer. So a proud affiliate, sponsor of the channel, for all of your mats, your sleeves, your deck boxes, your tokens. They have a lot of different card game accessories and products on that website, and it's high quality stuff. I mean, this is like one of my favorite things right here, okay? And I'm still using this, and I actually have a bunch of other new things that I have to do. I'll probably save it for like the next video, because right now I'm kind of like crunched for time. So I just wanted to make sure I get this out for you guys, and make sure you're staying in tune with my socials, because the fastest way that I'll be able to post these card descriptions is through like Twitter and Instagram and Threads and all that stuff before I can even get to the video. At least the good part about the video is that I can obviously go into more depth and really break down how these cards work. Make sure, as always, y'all are taking care of yourself. Love what you love. Gang gang.